Hello, Pisces. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. Hopefully this isn't overexposed. For the main read, I'm going to use the Gilded Tarot by Cyril Marchetti. This has Llewellyn.com. The current address or website, I think, is usgamesinc.com. usgamesinc.com is what I believe it is. In case you want to find his stuff. Or if you just look up his name, I think you'll find it fairly easily. Supportive Oracle Cards, Chakra Wisdom Oracle Cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen Raish Baskin. Some websites in the back here, toryhartman.com and watkinspublishing.co.uk. Is there watkinspublishing.com? Watkinspublishing.com is also there, so feel free to freeze frame and use whatever address works best for you. If you want it, of course. Alright. Pisces. What do we have for Pisces? This one card fell out. It was the Eight of Swords. And I wanted to put it back in, but the more I tried to put it back in, the more I felt like I was doing the wrong thing. There's something here. We're supposed to be getting out of this problem. Saying it's time to get out of the problem, it's been time to get out of the problem. It's been time. So it's kind of like whenever you're ready type energy. Something is like where you feel trapped, but whatever you're dealing with, it's almost like you're not alone in feeling this way, but it's kind of like you need to release yourself from it, and if there's other people involved, they're going to have to fix their own wagon. Fix their own wagon? That doesn't sound right, but fix their own situation. Somebody might just get their wagon fixed, whatever that means. Because I see somebody, I want to be careful with this, especially because there's lemons on this. Lemons on here with the prayer. And then the star card. Just to be fair, I'm not saying anybody needs to view it the way I view it, but the way I view prayer is prayer is very powerful, but you're expected to do your part. Like a long time ago, somebody gave the analogy of, if you can't expect to win the lottery if you're not even willing to buy a ticket. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like if you want things to get better in your own life, you got to make the effort. Prayer will try to move things in your direction, but you got to participate. You can't just expect it to just poof, be there. To me, that's not really how prayer works. You have to participate. So I'm getting whatever you're dealing with, whoever you're dealing with, it seems like there's the falling short prayer. I would call it a falling short prayer where somebody's literally just sitting in their recliner and they're like praying and praying and praying to win the lottery, but not making any effort to make it happen. So they have to, whoever you're dealing with has to make their own effort. You can try to explain that to them if you really want to, but what's going to actually make a difference is you just doing it yourself, you making the effort, you getting out of the situation, and that will that's the best case scenario where they have the best chance to move forward. By seeing you do it, they're kind of like, oh, Pisces got out of this situation. Why am I sitting here? It's kind of like lead by example. So if you're worried about somebody else getting up out of this situation, if you get yourself out, that might motivate this other person to get themselves out as well. Because they're blocked, but I feel like, I don't know, they're not supposed to pull you out, you're supposed to pull them out. So it's kind of like they're blocked, but it's not bad because you're more empowered being the first one moving forward, and then they'll move forward after. Okay, why not? Why not? Does this person care about you, or do they have some type of codependent issue? They can care about you and be codependent. It could be both, just to be fair. I'm getting this King of Cups it's not working. I almost feel like this energy, they hold themselves back, and them and you. They're holding you and them back. So you got to break free of this. whatever it is, this is probably business for a lot of you. I just feel like somebody else is making you feel like you can't do something, so you have to move ahead and show that, yeah, you can do that. You can very well do that very easily. I've known some Pisces that were very gifted in different ways, sometimes business, sometimes in communication, different things. Pisces can kind of shock people. So just because they don't believe in you, that doesn't give you the right to not believe in yourself. That came through really weird. I'm saying that as a Pisces because I'm like, that's coming through in a very weird way. Like, you can't let somebody else define what you can and can't do, especially when you know better. Especially when you know better. You don't want to be the one leading forward. I get that. But if you do, everything improves. I also, the despondence with the Sun card is telling me you move forward, things get better. You don't want to do it, but literally that's how things improve. That's how things get better for you. The two of these together makes me feel like you don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to do it. If you want things to be to your best advantage, for things to really work great for you, that's what needs to happen. Whatever this subject is, you got to lead it. There's a few signs that kind of do this. Pisces has a hard time. Pisces can have a hard time with that. I'm going to say that as a Pisces. There's different flavors of Pisces. Like, you got your rising and your moon and all the other good stuff going on. So some of us have it. There's more to work with there than others. You know, I'm just saying a lot of times Pisces has that issue. Some of us get across it easier than others. I'm just saying, because there's a lot of different flavors of Pisces actually. If you think of Pisces as like strawberry ice cream, sometimes you can have chocolate chips in it. Sometimes it's swirled with vanilla. Sometimes you put some chocolate sauce on it. Sometimes people put caramel sauce on it. You'd be like, well, that's not the flavor I'm looking for. But anyway, yeah, you're the one bringing it forward, and I feel like the Queen of Swords is kind of like, you might be communicating what you're doing, but you have to be doing it as you're communicating it. You can't be like, well, this is a good idea, then that, and not actually moving forward. You got to be taking the steps while you're explaining the steps. So whatever it is you're doing to change your situation, do it and then explain it as you're doing it. Kind of like, oh yeah, I started that class, and then as you're doing it, you're like, yep, gone through a couple classes, got this down, learned this, learned that, getting good grades here, making it work, understanding how to do this better, understanding how to do that better, getting more efficient. Talk about it, communicate about it as you're doing it. Whoever this person is, might have a Pisces connection somewhere else in their chart. I don't even know if that matters. I'm like, what do we go around? Just like checking people's charts? I don't think so. Like, I'm into astrology, and it's not like you can just walk up to somebody or a friend of yours and be like, hey, what's your birthday? I want to know where your Venus lies. I want to know where your Mars lies. I want to know where your Mercury lies. Like, what is your birthday again? What year? Let me just look that up. Like, we don't, people don't walk around with their birth charts hanging out all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. The fact that I'm even saying that, I'm almost ridiculing myself for saying it, but they have some type of common thread. Like, you might notice that you get along with them in certain situations. You might just jive with them and kind of like, I'm not sure why we jive so much, but we really do. Which makes me feel like you empowering yourself kind of shows this person that they need to empower themselves as well. They might have more of a similar, like, I can't, so if I can't, you can't energy. I don't know how to explain that. I don't feel like Pisces does that very often, but I am a Pisces, so maybe I'm just jaded. But I don't feel like we do that very often, where like, well, if I can't, then you can't. I don't feel like Pisces does that, but I feel like this energy coming towards you is kind of like, well, if I can't, then you surely can't. I feel like it's like one of those things. I don't know. I don't think they mean it to be as negative as it feels, but yep. I'm also seeing more communication. Like, I feel like this is redundant, but Ace of Swords with the workaholic. If you're explaining it as you're doing it, I feel like you're doing a lot more than you realize. Or maybe you are realizing how much you're doing it as you're explaining it. Because it seems to be like this builds on itself. As you're doing it and explaining it to others, you know people are going to want to know more, so you're getting excited to tell them more, but you're like, well, I'm going to have to do more if I want to tell them more, so I have more to tell them. It seems to build on itself. So it's like the more I do, the more I can talk about, the more I talk about, the more I like it. So I'm going to do more so I can talk about it, and I like that. And the people listening to you seem to like it too. It does seem to build on itself. It has its own energy. It seems very, very good. You don't have to race, by the way. I'm getting the Ten of Pentacles with the Page of Pentacles. You don't have to race. But for example, whatever. I'm not saying you're all going to take a course or whatever you're working at. Maybe it's a certain book you're going to read for whatever reason. Maybe it's a how-to book. Maybe it's something like that. If you make yourself a commitment, like on Wednesdays and Thursdays, you're going to take 20 minutes to half an hour each of those days at a certain time, and you're going to work on this every week at that point, that's all it takes. I don't know, it depends on you. Some people work better in the morning. So if you have a busy life, I don't know, I'm feeling like there's some people who have really busy lives. You actually might have an opportunity in the morning, which may be difficult to get into. But for example, if you get up a half hour earlier, get your day started like you normally do, and then, etch out that half hour for you to work in the morning on whatever this is. Maybe it's a book you got to read. Maybe it's some research you want to do. Maybe it's a half hour every morning. When you're getting up a half hour earlier to do this, you may end up only spending 10 to 15 minutes of quality work. But if you do this every day you work, it'll be like an hour a week, a good hour and a half. No, hour? It'll be a good hour, I'd say. Maybe an hour and a half you get out of it. And if you're putting that much every week, it may not seem like a lot, but especially if you're doing it in the beginning of the day, for those people who are really busy and you're like, I don't know where I'm going to start doing this, you may be surprised at how much headway you make fairly easily. It doesn't have to be the worst thing in the world. It doesn't have to be like, okay, now I have to make sure I cut out an hour every day, and I have to do it right after dinner, and like, I don't know, for some people, I feel like there's something about that. If you leave it to the end of the day, you're more likely to pass it up or not do it or something. If you make it too long, like an hour block, it might be too much. But if you put it in the beginning of the day, you get up a half hour earlier and you put like a half hour block, you only have so much time anyway, and then you have to go on to the next thing anyway. So it's just kind of like, it just seems like it becomes quite easy, and you're also feeling really good about it at the end of the day. Like, I already took care of that. It makes your day better. It seems to give you some uplifting energy, in case that helps. I mean, everybody's different. If you do it that way, I really get, like, if you hold the line, find your way to hold the line that way, justice comes forward. I feel like if you start the pattern, you'll continue the pattern. So if you find a pattern that works, again, it doesn't have to be the worst thing in the world. I feel like a lot of you, and do what you want. It's just information, just a suggestion. If you don't want it, don't do it. But for a lot of you, I do feel if you start it in the morning somehow and you get yourself in the habit, after 2 weeks, you'll be very happy with how far you've gone. After a month, you'll be right into the pattern, and you'll just stick with it. It will be easier to do. Is that it? So it's whatever you're going forward. You're the leader. Set the pattern. You don't have to run. You don't have to make it really stressful on yourself. Just get a pattern going. It won't be that bad. It really won't. Are we good? All right. I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below with the same email. Thank you again for watching, and you have a good day.